City, Washington. No need to call me. I just wanted to say thank you all again so much for letting us have your wonderful house on this garden tour. And I hope you like all the flower arrangements. I'm sorry I didn't get to see you before I left, but I hope everything will come through beautifully and everybody's going to have a wonderful house. It's a fabulous house. So thanks again so much, and I will hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.
Good afternoon and welcome to Fancy Hill. We're going to take you on a tour today. The Virginia Garden Club is presenting a tour for gardens and homes this week, and we've been honored as one of their chosen homes. So we hope you enjoy our tour through the house. Among our many collections, we have some coffee grinders which we actually use, and they were at one time in an old country store. So we grind our coffee every morning on these coffee grinders. And this table was given to us by my husband's mother, Anne Vaughn, and she had it for a long time. It's a very, very old table, probably from the 1700s. These are some of our family photographs that we are very proud of. These are our family, Stephen Vaughn, Genie Vaughn, and their two children, Mason Henry and Avery Patton. This is their latest picture from Easter with the little Easter bunny. And now we're going into the dining room. Now we're in the dining room. This is an old piece, Valley of Virginia, our corner cover. This is a Sheraton sideboard, and it's 18th century, probably from Baltimore, Maryland. These are old English knife boxes, and they're from the 1700s. They're from England. Our chairs are original, and they are from England also. And what a lovely flower arrangements the ladies did in here, in our silver epergne. This is a Reed and Barton silver service that's quite old, from the early 1900s. And on the mantle, in just a moment, you will see a Sevres clock set, which is from around 1830. They're French pieces, and the clock is working. And we've had that in our collection for at least 20 years. Okay, now we're going to our first hallway. This house consists of two major hallways. This is the newest part of the house, which was around 1830. So if you'll follow me, this is the stairway, and if you will look on the wall, we have our register from the Virginia landmarks for the house. It is also on the Federal Register. The chandelier is from the old Alum Springs Hotel. Of these stairs is an area that was used as a jail when this house was a tavern. We're now looking at the area that was once a jail. When this was a famous stagecoach stop and a tavern, they would bring their prisoners here and leave them overnight. There was a wall here with bars, but we've created a beautiful landing, and in it I have two of my very favorite people, my grandmother and grandfather, George Monroe and Hattie Victoria Spencer Holt. I'm very fortunate that my aunt, Martha Virginia Lewis, who lives in Columbia, Tennessee, gave me my grandmother's vest and my grandfather's vest that they wore in their wedding, and also her little locket, as you will see displayed. This is our guest bedroom, and this is where usually grandmothers stay when they come to visit, or our grandchildren like to stay in this room. On the mantle, I have a picture of me as a baby when I'm sleeping, and the other picture is of our oldest son, Genie Vaughn Jr., who was waking up from a nap. My mother, Missy Spencer, who is a photographer, took both of those pictures. Above the mantle is a painting by Samuel Baldwin Pratt. It's a scene in New York on the Hudson River. This is Victorian furniture in here from about 1860. It's Eastlake, Victorian. Our quilt was made by the Amish ladies, Lydia Beery and her sister, near Harrisonburg, Virginia. This is a log cabin quilt. Now we're in the second guest bedroom, and in here we have a lot of my husband's ancestors. Above the mantle, his grandmother and grandfather Seidenstricker. And Granny Seidenstricker I knew and was fortunate to know. She passed away at about 92 years of age, and she made some beautiful quilts. These are two quilts that she made on our quilt rack, and she was a wonderful person. This is another Victorian bed. This was probably earlier than the one we saw in the first bedroom. This one was probably from about 1830. And it's walnut with burled walnut accents. Victorian walnut dresser. And on it is a 17th century Capodimonte jewel box. This is a plate that is in honor of the Alderson Memorial Bridge in Alderson, West Virginia, where my husband was born. And this is where my father-in-law had a farm, Mr. Homer H. Vaughn. And this is Homer and Ann Vaughn. These are my husband's parents. We're now in the master bedroom. And this is a beautiful old walnut Victorian bed that we purchased from a lady in Petersburg, Virginia. This is interesting. It has a little jewel box in the end of the bed where people could hide their special things, and you weren't supposed to know where it was. This little trunk belonged to my mother-in-law's grandmother. This was her little trunk, and she gave it to us, and we had it refinished, and we're just real proud of that. Goes with that beautiful Victorian bed. And you will see 4 Hummel dolls from Germany. They are beautiful little dolls and were given to us by my mother, Missy Spencer. They are over 100 years old. And if you'll look over to your right, you will see pictures of the family. Over the mantel in the master bedroom is a portrait that was taken of me in 1957 when I was Miss Martinsville. Below, if you can pan down and see the little clown that's on the floor, that is another Hummel figurine that was given to us by Missy Spencer, my mother. That's Emmett Kelly. And on around on the corner of the room we have a wardrobe. It's in walnut with carving. The beveled mirror. On the wall is a picture of my mother and father, George Eugene and Stella Marie Spencer, better known as Missy Spencer. The chest of drawers with the beautiful flower arrangement on it is in walnut with burled walnut accents. And above that is a portrait of me when I was 2 years old, and I posed for the Press Photographers Convention in Baltimore, Maryland. We're on the second story now in the second stairway. This is the second landing. This is a Victorian hunt board, and on it we have displayed pictures of our family that we're very proud of. This picture is a picture that's very dear. It's my dad and his sister when they were babies, and they are both wearing the same dress. And I have that dress here. It has beautiful handmade lace on it. This is the second master bedroom. This is a beautiful old bed that is a Rockbridge County piece. It belonged to General Letcher's family, and they had a big sale, and Mrs. Mitchell, who was an antique dealer, bought the bed, and we purchased it from her. The blanket chest is an 18th century blanket chest with beautiful dovetailing, and it's walnut with a bear claw lock. And as we pan around, we can see the cradle that was made for our grandson by my mother-in-law's carpenter in West Virginia. There's a tavern desk in the corner of walnut. And the dressing table is walnut also. Now we're in the central hall that was from the original house. The house was built in 1821, and in a minute you will see the beautiful woodwork that's in this hall. But right now we're looking at an 18th century Chippendale English oak hanging cupboard, and under it is a Staffordshire teapot on a stand. You're looking at the original hallway with the Federal arch to it, and the staircase with the Federal banister. These are original steps on the stairs. Welcome to the living room. This is an 18th century clock. On the mantle we have a Sevres urns. And here we have a Sevres chandelier from France. It was purchased in London by a curator we know in Roanoke for us, and it's a lovely piece. It's 18th century, and it has all of the original brasses on it. And of course it has your little secret drawers that most of these secretaries had. It is one of the pieces that came out of a manor house. We have several pieces from the same home, all 18th century pieces. This tea set, as you can see, is beautiful china. It was in Patrick Henry's home, Red Hill, and that is in Virginia, Charlotte County. The 18th century sofa is original, and it has the original silk fabric on it. Very good condition. We're in the music room now, and we recently purchased this George II mahogany bureau fall front desk. The leather top has been replaced probably in the 1830s. And this has the shell design inlaid, and the inlay here. And this also has secret compartments in it. Above this, we have a Russian coffee urn that has been made into a lamp with a Tiffany lampshade. Now, this is the fun part of our room. This is where I spend a lot of my time playing the organ. My husband bought this organ for me several years ago. It's a concert model Lowry, and I enjoy playing it. A lot of fun and entertainment. At Christmas parties, we have a wonderful time singing around the organ. This is a coal shuttle. It's a very fancy coal shuttle that was used in England. It has the little brass scoop with it. And this chandelier is a classical revival of Greek and Roman form. It's a 4-tiered chandelier reproduced from a documented gasoline type of lamp of the 1840s. It's a replica of one that is in the U.S. Capitol building in Washington. The brasses are in the true Greek key design. Here we have a painting by Turner. You'll see many of Turner's works of art in the gallery in Washington, D.C. And it's a lovely painting. Very old. Right now we are looking at a Heffelwhite hunt board. The wood is walnut with southern pine secondary wood, and it has inlay with the fan design on each of the drawers. The vases are English and appear to be Staffordshire, but I'm not sure about that. The painting is another Paris street scene done by Mr. Ogren. This small room that you see is off of the music room and was originally the warming room for the dining room. The kitchen was outdoors originally in another building, and they brought the food in here to the keeping room to keep it fresh and warm before they served it. You're looking at a Victorian secretary, which dates about 1850. This is a walnut credenza. It's a Victorian piece around 1850, and the little Victorian chair beside it with the cane bottom. The vase is out of a bowl and pitcher set. Now we're coming to the basement area of the house. This is our den where we can sit and enjoy TV, and it's more comfortable than the formal living room. This is a bar area. This is a little train that we purchased at an auction for a school. And my husband really loves trains, so this is one of his favorite toys. Back here we have some trophies that we won when we were racing in the Buena Vista Labor Day race. And we've collected some bottles that are collector's items. They're Jim Beam and Wild Turkey bottles. This is an original fireplace. This is called the hoop skirt screen because when the ladies wore their big hoop skirts, they could back up to this and keep warm at the fireplace without getting burned or scorched. The andirons were made by Cyrus McCormick, whose farm is not far from here. This is a pot holder that was used inside the fireplace to hold the pots when they cooked in this fireplace. This is a collection of old tins that we have. They're tobacco tins and cigar tins. And this is an old broom that was handmade. It was in the old East Lexington Tavern. And it was hand shredded, all of this wood. Imagine trying to sweep your house with this broom. It wouldn't be easy. This is an oil of a train done by Samuel Baldwin Pratt in 1988. We're in the museum area, as we like to call it, and this is an old still that was used illegally back in the early 1900s. Actually, it was the late 1800s. And this is the bookkeeper's record of the amount of whiskey that was sold. And as you can see, the penmanship was really beautiful back in those days. This is a very rare book to have with this still. We're very proud of this. It's solid copper. Over here on the wall, we have a grain cradle that they used to thresh the hay with to get it up on the wagon. And this is an old rake that's wooden, a wooden rake. And we have many artifacts that were used back in those days. Keys, clippers, pitchfork, all types of farming equipment. And over here we have things that the ladies like to use. They didn't exactly like using them, but we have the wash tub where they had to do their wash. And the old washboards, so many people can remember these washboards. On this wall, you'll see a lot of the tools that were used in building this house. We had some lathes that were used for carving out the roofs for the shingles, and some planes that were used for the boards from the logs, and some old hinges, the axes. Upstairs sun porch, and it's been enclosed, and this is a Samuel Baldwin Pratt painting. And here we have a trunk that's very dear to us. This is a tool chest that came over on the boat from Scotland, and it belonged to William Wiley, who is one of my husband's ancestors. Inside the original box, this is the original box that came over on the ship. Then this box was built around it when it was transferred by wagon train from Pennsylvania to West Virginia. And in it are many tools that have been hand carved and hand done that were his great-great-great-grandfathers. They were into surveying and gunsmithing. We're through with our tour and we thank you for coming along. We want to close this tour with a collage of the beautiful flower arrangements that were done by the Blue Ridge Garden Club.